Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Harakah Kodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of great Millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. It's Payal of the gym, that's London camp. And this video is a reply video to this video by Apostle Tahar entitled, "The Elect of the UK Will Be Tried First," right? So, as you can tell, we're in serious times, man. Because we're going to be tried first, right, in accordance with the authorization of the Maxine, all right, and yeah, it's about to bring temptation upon the UK, all right, and as you know, if you're over here in the UK, if you're not, we basically just came out of a lockdown, our second lockdown, national lockdown, which lasted for the month, mostly for the month of November. And since coming out of the lockdown, we've basically gone into a tier system, a free tier system. And London, for the most part, went into tier 2, but most of the north of the country has gone into tier 3. So they've gone from a lockdown, which was better conditions, or when I say better conditions, I mean less restrictions on movement, all right, into into basically a tier 3 tier system, and they're on tier 3, which is basically worse than what they were dealing with in the lockdown, all right. So, and they got, it's the reason why I said that, and they got the UK military basically out there administering testing. Okay, so this is where we're at, man. This is it. It's saying British Army's, from the Daily Mail, it says British Army's Information Warfare Unit will be deployed to tackle anti-Maxine propaganda ahead of jab rollout. All right. So, as I mentioned, that there's armed personnel up in the north basically helping to administer the Maxine. What you don't realize is it's a nationwide affair, all right? Now that you've had the authorization of the Maxine, basically they got a whole rollout they're doing, all right, across the United Kingdom, all right? So I'm going to jump in and out and just wrap it up. So it's the British Army's Information Warfare Unit will be deployed to tackle anti-Maxine propaganda ahead of the CV-19 Maxine rollout. It has been revealed. Soldiers are already monitoring cyberspace for CV-19 content to find out how British citizens are being targeted online, leaked documents showed. Famine of hearing a word, all right? So they're basically monitoring now, and they're filtering out the information on the web, all right? And that's why a lot of brothers' channels are getting shut down, videos are getting taken down, strikes, having to start new channels or move to other channels that you, backup channels you got, old channels that you got, all of that type of stuff, because they're basically looking for anything that goes against the agenda they're pumping out there right now, all right? So I said it comes amid the rise in a number of anti-lockdown, anti-Maxine protests taking place around Britain, as 3 potential Maxines were found to have around 90% effectiveness. So it says the Defense Cultural Specialist Unit was launched in Afghanistan in 2010 and is tied to the Army's 77th Brigade, which is quite a controversial brigade because there's an MP that's tied to it that I believe was a former member, and he's basically within the House of Commons, and he basically made certain moves as to where the 77th Brigade would basically be in charge of the rollout of the Maxine. So it says, or overseeing it or something to that effect. The Defense Cultural Specialist Unit was launched in Afghanistan in 2010 and is tied to the Army 77th Brigade, which often works with psychological operations teams. All right? And I'm not gonna, all you have to do is put those two words together and I'll let you know where we're at, man. All right? Psy, and you know. So it says a probe into vaccine disinformation from hostile states, including Russia, will be launched. So now this even will be utilized as a guise whereby, man, people can be deemed terrorists to be working alongside Russia or any other state because you're not a one with the agenda that's being pushed forth, okay? So all those protesters, they already had information come out in LA where they basically, or California, sorry, where you had a politician say that it's an act of domestic terrorism to not wear a mask. So you know where this is going, all right? It's basically establishing the image. This is, like I said, I've been saying it for a few times. It's establishing the final, hold strongholds of the image of the beast as a stepping stone to the mark of the beast. All right. So it says the team will start recruiting professional and reserve soldiers to help in its mammoth task as the government prepares the country for mass vaccine nations as soon as next month. All right. Oops. So you see a lot of people protesting. So I'm going to read this last paragraph. So this is a public campaign will be launched across television and radio to ensure as many people as possible are vaccinated. All right, starting with NHS workers. Now, I went into it yesterday about the whole thing dealing with the process whereby the people will basically be dealt with by the vaccine in a phased process or program. It says yesterday conspiracy theories claiming vaccines were to cover a trackable microchips into people was available online. So see, it's out there, man. The information's out there about the chip. Everyone knows that the mark is what's next up, right? But they're trying to deflect that information because they want to control the narrative basically, and put out the information in the manner they want to present it, whereby they can deceive the people, right, to take the mark. The Ministry of Defence has confirmed the 77th Brigade will not be working against the British people. But instead looking at what impact other countries have on cyber networks, all right? So again, they ain't working against the British people, but they're working against the outside infiltrators, all right? But then that lets you know that the outside will basically be talking about what? They'll be anti-maxers, all right? So they'll be anti-maxers. That means that anyone that is an anti-maxer, you're basically going to be painted with that same coat of paint as those from outside the country, all right? Last night, a cabinet office spokesman told the newspaper, as we edge closer to a vaccine, shit, man, closer to a vaccine, we continue to work closely with social media companies and other organizations to anticipate and mitigate any emergent anti-max narratives and promote authoritative sources of information, alright? So they want to control the narrative, alright? So like I said, man, the UK, well, Pastor Har said, the elect of the UK will be tried first. We're heading into that time, man. We're going to be tried first. So it's time to, gird up, man, and get your mind right. So I'm going to read this. Surah 2 and 1 and down. So it says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Right, so you got to prepare yourself to be tempted, because ultimately we're leading into a great temptation. Okay, set thy heart aright, get your mind right, and constantly endure, constantly make hard. All right, so when you get broken down or attempt to be broken down, you got to make hard against it and make no haste in the time of trouble. Yeah, deal with it. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, all right? Take it cheerfully, all right? Don't mean you got to smile like a Cheshire cat, but you got to just know that, the Lord's really dealing with you, all right? The Lord chastises those that he loveth. And be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. All right. This is our proving to show the real gold, man. And when you get put in the fire of adversity, or the furnace of adversity, basically it's gonna make your gold shine even brighter, man. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his faith and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. So don't worry, man. Have faith. The Lord's got you. That's really how you gotta look at it, man. The Lord's got you, man. And he's gonna hold you down. So with that, man, I pray you're edified. Until the next one, say shalom.